Jimmy D here, and I am on one of my long coffee trips. Today is July 5th. I'm in the High Bridge State Park here in Virginia. It is a very, very warm day, but I'm having a blast. First off, I'm going to be putting in some miles for this trek, but really one of the things that I'm doing is testing a new script or a new application that I wrote. I've been into life coaches and business coaches since I was probably 19 or 20 years old. My first one was with Tony Robbins, and it's one of those late night commercials, and I ordered the cassette tapes series, and from there, it was audiobooks and magazines and whatever I could get as that journey started. And of course, I was young and somewhat impressionable, and now I'm just old and impressionable. But the idea was that I wanted to get that influence, get a coach, get things going. Things, of course, progressed. I went to see Tony, matter of fact, in London 6 years ago. Fully believe that you need that kind of input. And I found today, the minute AI came on, as we know it today, about three and a half years ago, I've been using it specifically for that. Whether it's the generative responses, giving me feedback, helping me do research and things like that. And now to today, what I'm doing with today's test demonstration that I'm doing. So I have a custom GPT that I built, and what that custom GPT is built to, of course, to be a business and life coach. Not only is it leaning on some of the ones that I respect and like, but also it understands my goals, some of the aspects that I want to be coached on. And with that, it, of course, does its job, and it does it quite well. And it's surprising how these have evolved and become better over just a couple of years that we have here. But one thing that's always been an issue, even from day one, was the learning was one-sided, where I would listen to my cassettes back in the day, or the CDs, moving to YouTube videos, that it was one-sided. I was only getting the information, and I had to save the information, and I had to use that information for the week. I mean, when I went to the Tony Robbins in London, I mean, I rode that high for a quarter, 3 months. But after that, you lose momentum, of course. And there's ways to get that, but there was no feedback loop. And that's the word I'm going to use today. There was minimal feedback loop. And even with the generative practice that I was doing early on with ChatGPT, even Gemini a little bit, that was one-sided. It would give me the information. ChatGPT's gotten a lot better where it's going to remember things. But again, I didn't have it locally, and I fully believe in this local first concept, meaning that my data and my core structure needs to be local first, and from there on we can decide where it sits in the cloud. So anyways, come to today. And what I've done is I've built an action to my custom GPT, and that custom GPT now, at the end of the session, will either ask me, or I will tell it to save to NoodleNet. It will save to my second brain. And what's exciting about this is that it takes not only the transcript of what I've discussed and what we've talked about, but it also summarizes it. It also finds action items. It helps filter it for business or personal issues that I'm working on, and sends it to NoodleNet. And it stores it, of course, a couple of different ways, where I have it, of course, inputted into a vector. Then I also have the raw MD files, but in a secure folder. And I also have an index, an ongoing index based on whatever I'm looking for. So a business index and a personal index, and a lot of that information. And to be honest with you, I've been using it now for 5 days, and fabulous. Not only does it have that information, so I can count on it and it's saved, It knows how to store it. It knows how to organize it, but it can answer any questions that I have. I was working on one of my projects. There's one of the projects that I'm working on, which is Noodle Build, which is a development environment for NoodleNet. Exciting. Can't wait to show you guys about that. And it could tell me within those 5 days, all the times that I've talked about it, what some of my goals are and what some of the challenges that we discussed. I mean, it took me 2 hours to get up here, and I purposely made sure that it was all spent as a business or life coach. I've got a lot of information and a lot of great things that we've talked about, but I'm going to forget that information if I don't have a way to recall it or get back. And that's how it is. And now that I have that as a core data structure on NoodleNet, the whole second brain, it just evolves to a whole nother level. So I'm just super excited about that. One of the things, I've already started doing some 2.0 stuff where I'll be able to pass variables to the script to have different coaches. So I will have a separate business and life coach, so it's not taking the entire load. Then it'll also be able to pull different MD files, which are basically the instructions on how it should work and what it should do. Behind the all of that on the the NoodleNet side, there's course reporting, there's interaction, how I can interact with it, how I can talk to it, just like I'm doing here today. Matter of fact, this whole walk here will be me talking. I'm working on a demo server for one of the AIOS appliance, or the AI. It's part of the AIOE. I know I'm throwing a lot of terms there, but the AI operating environment. And I want to start discussing what data should exist in that demo server to communicate my message. Well, we discussed it. We talked through it. Matter of fact, it was able to touch back to something that we talked about the other day. And that got me going on a new idea for 2.0, and I actually added that into my projects, which was I'm going to add MCP to it so it can actually query my information out back. So if I sit there and say, hey, do you remember 2 weeks ago when we talked about XYZ? It can go, okay, let me go back. And it'll sit there and use MCP. Again, secure token, data strong. It'll find what we talked about and tell me about it. It says, is this it? And I would say, yep, let's get some more information about it. And it'll be able to pull that information and bring it into our conversation. It's an exciting, super exciting time. All right, so I got some miles to get. As you can see, it's probably the hottest day to be doing this. But anyways, Jimmy D, peace out.